brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hey there. Are you ready?
Yes.
One of us is.
Sorry.
Well, darn it, you all better be ready.
Sorry. That was
Welcome
Pavlovian.
to another Suds episode where good beer meets really bizarre and bad radio.
Really?
Well, really.
Really.
Subjectively speaking.
Really.
I am one person sitting at the table, good old gal Julieanna, and with me today is good old boy Dave.
Dave's not here!
I was trying to say that all morning, but
Cheech and Chong reference. It's done now. No more.
Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
thank you, good old boy Dave. Good old boy Kendall, welcome
It's a
back.
pleasure as always.
Good old boy Caperton.
Hello, listeners.
And live for the first time in
Millions of years.
millions of years, good old boy Drew.
I'm so very happy to be back. I've missed you all.
The voice from the mist.
Exactly.
Just
Not to
like
be
Brigadoon?
Could be. He is wearing a rather nice cap. Today's episode is kind of cool and kind of special.
That'd be a change.
Today's episode is a blind tasting, folks. We have 13, count 'em lucky, 13 IPAs from New England breweries.
We're blind now.
Well,
What?
I think we prefer visually impaired.
Blind drunk tasting.
you'll be seeing the light in a few minutes.
I'm really disappointed.
Nice save.
Yeah.
I saw,
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that NEIPA. I thought we were tasting beers from Nebraska.
Kendall,
He wore a parka.
Kendall wore his Cornhusker t-shirt. And he's very... you got
He's
sold a
sad.
bill of goods, buddy.
He was prepared, but
Okay, so we have 13 IPAs from New England breweries that our co-hosts have tasted without knowing anything about them
Other than...
Literally.
they were brewed in New England.
other than the style.
We know less
Yes. Now, me, I know about all of these beers.
She was the master
And
puppeteer.
I was the master, yes.
key
I numbered
master.
all the tasting cups, and I'm the only one that knows which beer went into which cup.
BL is Sam Adams.
I tried that, but then I thought against it. Yeah. Okay, so before we get started, though, this Suds episode is brought to you by...
stuff and things. Do you like stuff? Do you need things? Come on down to Stuff and Things. We have more stuff than anyone, and our things are priced very competitively. Stuff and things, things and stuff, stuff and things and stuff and things. Now with more stuff.
God.
That was amazing.
That was best ever.
Yes.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah. Nah,
That's
it's
a
all
great
right.
ad.
Hey,
Yes.
I bow to the master.
He's got it.
He does.
He's got it.
He's got the gift.
Okay, so let's get going with this thing,
Let's get going with this thing.
which
Vroom.
I am so excited about.
Hey, Julieanna, what are all the beers we tasted?
Well, funny you should ask. Okay, so in no particular order at all, to confuse everybody and stuff.
Further,
Yes.
Very random.
We have Gray Sail Brewing of Rhode Island, Captain's Daughter. We have Fort Hill Brewery, Jigsaw Jazz. We have Thomas Hooker Brewery, No Filter
Oh.
IPA.
Hooker.
Sorry.
Careful. Wear protection.
Were
any
you
relation
saying
to
something?
John Jay?
Yeah. Now, from Treehouse, we have Bright, Haze, and Alter Ego.
Tree. Three. From the tree.
Three from the tree.
Three
Three
trees.
from the tree. Three
right.
branches from the tree.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm throwing you
Thank
out.
You gonna go
here,
run
Raven.
amok? You drinking beer? You go to the bar? You gonna play your numbers?
Sorry.
And the number is 3, apparently.
Tree.
Not two.
Tree from Tree. Yes. From Exhibit A Brewing, we have Demo Tape 12 Rewind and The Cat's Meow.
Meow.
Wow.
I don't have a cat noise, so I'll just make one.
Where's Scratchers when you need her?
Probably drunk.
From Greater Good, we have the Greylock IPA, and then we have Pulp.
Greylock.
Yes. From Mystic Brewing, we have Voltage.
Ooh, that's good voltage.
That's nice,
That was very
yeah.
good. That was way better than what I
Wow.
did.
That's awesome. Edison would be impressed. And then from
Tesla.
Tesla, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, fine. Edison had...
We're never going to get through this.
I know,
Okay, we
not
won't.
ever.
and then from Lamplighter, we have Stardust IPA and Birds of a Feather. Yes.
Well done.
Okay, so just to get the conversation going, what are some things you guys consider to be traits of a really good New England IPA? And also, just because an IPA is brewed in New England, does that automatically fit the style of what we call a New England IPA?
Kendall, go.
And
I don't believe so, because if you look at the traditional, or not traditional, but the new definition, it's like really hazy and juicy, which would leave out Focal Banger and Heady Topper, and which I would say are the quintessential New England IPAs. But we just keep pushing the style even hazier, juicier, and it just keeps getting so thick. One of these days, we're going to need a spoon to drink it, eat it, whatever.
Sure.
A sieve.
I agree with Kendall.
I agree with Kendall, too.
Yeah.
Does anybody not agree with Kendall? If you do, get the hell up out of this.
I agree with Kendall.
So,
Jeez, guys, sorry.
That's just my humble
Just came
opinion.
back.
it does seem to be a style unto itself.
Yeah.
Even
Agreed.
not completely recognized by whoever does that job.
But it's interesting that there are a lot of breweries outside of New England who want to brew that.
C.
Yes.
And then there are breweries in New England who are like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I agree. It's polarizing as well. It's
It
a
is.
bit of a polarizing
There
style.
was an East Coast, West Coast battle. I mean, somebody may have gotten shot.
As beer has become more popular, we're embracing styles that never would have maybe been embraced to this extent, like pastry stouts or northeastern.
It is pretty
IPAs.
amazing to see the proliferation. I can't hardly talk. I don't think I
that
got
was
that
a
out.
cool
Got it,
word.
though.
You're
Yeah,
pretty close.
But,
You're
don't know
pretty
but
what-
close.
anyway, like
Yeah.
I think I had a beer from Minnesota this week, barrel something or other, but it was hazy, juicy. There's a brewery here in Nashville
Yeah.
doing it. There's Weld Works out in Colorado is making these great
they're
beers.
delicious.
Yeah.
So it's not just limited to New England.
There's
but,
places in Oregon doing it too,
Yeah,
which
this-
is like you would think that's heresy
Yeah,
out
that
there.
would be.
but the
that's
style
always
is like
fun.
all over the map. It's
Yep.
I don't think it's been hard, defined really
I think,
solidly
I
yet.
think craft beer nerds follow trends.
Yeah,
I think everybody just follows the trend.
and trend becomes
The thing.
reality.
Well,
Yeah,
everyone-
I mean, it does. Yeah.
Everyone wants something new all the time.
Sure,
And so the
yeah.
trend is always something new until there's something new.
Let's face it, the American palate demands shiny baubles from time to time.
yeah.
I'm guilty of this as
Baubles.
well. I
They
say
do.
this being guilty of it as well.
Agreed.
I think the next trend is beer to guard.
Oh, I hope so.
Fancy.
I hope you're
I
right.
was thinking
I
Tripel
hope
or
you're-
Golden,
yeah.
but
I hope you're right.
I think we need to kick it back to some of the older styles too.
Malt liquor,
'Cause-
baby.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Maybe
problem.
not that old.
that is the problem, right? Is that it seems to be
Zwickel beer.
to the detriment of some more traditional thinking. That we are
But, like,
polarized.
they went
like
back-
many
Arms race.
things.
But
in
like
this country.
saison became a big thing. That's a really traditional style. But then everybody started dry hopping it
Yeah.
and adding all kind
Yeah.
of crap to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
same with Goza.
Although
Yeah.
I am
it goes.
perfectly happy with dry hop saisons.
Well, me too. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, everybody gets a turn on the Ferris wheel.
Guilty.
We have no
Guilty
Reinste
of that.
True.
All right.
I don't know. And the issue that I have is that as a home brewer, I like to have a beer that is traditional to style
Sure.
to be able to.
As long as you can put honey malt in it.
Yes, that's just me. But in the scheme of things, if I want to brew a good beer to style, so that I can say, yes, I do know how to use that,
Yeah.
and then deviate from it, it's just becoming harder and harder for me to find a beer style that is a traditional beer style and not something that's gone way off to right field
These
or
beers
left
are
field.
good.
You know what? Some of them are good.
And and we did have the discussion briefly as to some of the style guidelines that may or may not particularly contribute to taste or smell like haze. And
Yeah.
I was in the camp that I think the NEIPA there has to be some degree of haziness to it.
NEIPA.
Milk
I do
shake.
think there's some science, and I do think that it does contribute to.
I agree. I think with the way they use hops and then also the yeast.
But traditional
Yeast-
brewers
yeast
have the
use.
biggest problem,
And the malt bill can.
dare I say, with the appearance of this beer.
Yeah,
more
I hate it.
more than anything. Yeah.
But you know what? 200 years ago, when they first started making IPAs, how clear
it
were those
wasn't
beers?
that
Yeah.
clear. Probably.
What fining agents were they using?
Yeah.
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 Glass.
Let's put some gelatin in our beer.
Good point
All right.
from good old boy Dave.
Well,
Let's
but
get
then
to
back then, how many styles were there? You know what I mean? And then what were you?
350.
A bunch, apparently.
Everyone's
Well-
house had their own style,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure, but you were using like whatever herbs
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and
There was
spices.
the Kendall Saison, the Caperton Stout.
The terroir is amazing.
Okay, on to the show. So, good old boy Dave, why don't you give us the Suds ratings for today? And your Boston accent stinks,
Boy.
so you don't have to read them in it.
I need Dunkin'.
In fact, we all voted and would prefer if you didn't attempt the Boston accent.
Well, I'll admit mine's not as good as good old boy Mike's, which sounds like a Southie with a mouthful of marbles, but whatever. We'll be discussing and rating these beers with these Suds ratings plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a Yankees fan.
What?
What?
Number 2, was that a BL? Number 3, what a relief, kid. Number 4, Tom Brady should really not make that sound. And 5, listen to that wicked hang time. Give me another BL. Wicked.
You gonna run amok? You going to the packy?
Seriously?
BL is Sam Adams.
That's all I got to say.
And with that, we'll be back after this brief interlude.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, it's the Battle of the New England IPAs.
IPAs of New England.
And which one will win?
Which one?
He's the first church is straight off the Mayflower.
What?
What, is that the first brewery straight off the Mayflower?
Sure, yeah. Mayflower IPA. You never had that?
No.
That's why they got off the boat. They ran out of beer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's true.
I heard
That's
that too.
history.
True
I
story.
heard that.
True
That's
facts.
that is not fake news.
True facts.
That's right.
Okay. Well, okay, so before we start the show, my co-host has tasted all the beers that I had previously mentioned and then rated them. And then collectively, they agreed on a ranking system of the top 6 out of 13.
To be fair, good old boy Mike was in charge of this, so the math may have been a bit fuzzy.
It is now for sure.
We checked
True.
it.
This was subject to an audit later on.
But then again, we'd all been drinking.
So even though all 13 beers were rated, we are only going to discuss the top 6.
Sorry.
Correct?
That's the best we can do.
Correct.
That's right.
The best we
There's
can
a lot of beer, folks. Trust me.
Okay, but before we start with the beers, though, we have a new pretty rad segment.
Okay.
It is It is now time for good old boy Caperton's Kudzu Report.
I wish my mom I'm calling her and telling her I got a theme song now. It's kind of a song, The Vine That Ate the Soul. So, okay, folks, let's get down to it. I don't have time, and we got to get to these beers, and we're going to get right into this segment of the show, which is the Kudzu Report. All right.
Make it happen.
Let me give you a little 411 on kudzu because it needs to be done. Kudzu refers to a group of invasive plants here in the U.S., and it's a problem. You got to trust me on this. It's a problem. It's a creeping vine that can grow up to 1 foot per day. And thank goodness it only has a foot, because if it got, managed 2 feet, imagine it'd be twice as fast, I think. Anyway, this destructive, thank you. This destructive force of nature was brought here from Japan. Okay. Whatever. We'll go into that later. But little did we know we were inviting a slow motion green tsunami right onto our lawns here in America. Awesome. And it is capable of covering your home. It can creep right into your bedroom. But friends, don't let this green menace get a foothold onto the teeter-totter that your darling children frolic upon.
It'll crawl right up your pant leg.
Let's not let it get to that point.
Kids, hi, Joel.
Join us. Join those of us who stand sentinel with our weed whackers and our homebrew defoliants. I'm sorry. I almost made it.
Fancy word.
Sorry. A wall is useless to this determined invader. Trust me. It's not going to work. It's already in Canada. They've got kudzu in Canada. That's right. Thanks to the Southeast, because anyway, that's another episode. So if you see something, do something. A tip of the cap to good old gal Julieanna's home state of Pennsylvania.
Woo!
Where they've recently empowered their citizenry to pull this invader up by the roots. Good work, Pennsylvania. Let's get busy and join them in the fight. Thank you.
Crank them and yank them.
And good luck.
Preach, preach, preach.
All right.
Woo!
All right. So,
okay.
Top 6.
Now back to beer.
I like that. That was good, though.
That's the kudzu. That's this week's Kudzu Report, folks.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So we're going to start with number 6 and work our way up to number 1.
Well, sixth place.
Okay. Sorry. 6th place.
6th place.
Good old boy Kendall. What is the consensus on what that beer is?
What do you guys think?
This beer was kind of all over the place.
It was.
That's why we threw it in as our number 6. It was the wild card.
Yep.
It had ratings anywhere from a 1 to a 5.
Yes.
So, personally, I did not like this beer at first. It's creamy, as you would expect. It had, to me, a very oniony, vegetal type of bitterness, but not very much juiciness. And that's one of the things I was looking for, some of that orange, lemon, grapefruit, maybe even passion fruit, tropical stuff going on. And I didn't get a lot of that. So to me, this was not one of my favorites, but everybody else kind of convinced me that we should include this. And as it's warmed up, it's gotten a little more character.
So has it grown on you like kudzu?
A little bit.
Ooh.
But I'm really curious what this was.
I'm getting my weed whacker.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Lamplighter, Birds of a Feather.
Interesting.
Of a feather.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, Caperton loved it.
It is a 6.8% ABV beer. It's an IPA that is brewed with Mosaic, Columbus, and Citra hops.
Interesting.
And it does have a rather pretty label to it, if I do say so myself. It's got a bird. Yes.
What was the collective rating on this beer, Julieanna?
The collective rating on this was a 3 as they crack open another can.
Nice.
It's funny that Kendall
hated it, but he's going to
So
have
here,
more.
I just have to throw this in that I wrote maybe the juiciest of the bunch.
See, I did not get it
That's
at all.
insane. I don't know. In my defense, I think that was the first beer that I tried. So,
Gotcha.
And I admit that I might not have been up to this task, but I tried. I
Julieanna
persevered.
did a great job mixing all the cups and the numbers up
She
to
did.
make sure that
She
these
did.
guys were totally off their comfort zones.
I mean, I'm drinking it still. It's a good beer. I'm just not getting the juiciness off this one. That is so interesting.
All right. What was 5th?
Good
Oh,
old
let me
boy-
ask you guys this before we go any further, though. So we've got some serious beer guys here. looking at all these beers on the table here, what do you each think ends up being number one? Like, if you had to guess, or based on what you think, what would you say is number one?
I'm going with the Treehouse Sprite just because I love that beer, and I'm going to be very sad if I did not rank it. That's the fun of blind tasting.
Yeah. How about you guys?
A lot of these beers I'm just not familiar with.
I think I would probably say one of the Treehouse beers.
I don't know. I would think Haze, maybe.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, one of the
only
Treehouse
having had a
beers.
few of these beers personally.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and put that out there in the universe. We expect a Treehouse beer to be in first place.
Yeah,
but now let's go back to fifth place, Julieanna. Caperton, what did you guys think about the fifth place beer? Like, what was the tasting notes on that little dog?
My own tasting notes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I wrote, and okay, let me just also admit that I used a lot of the same descriptors on a lot of these beers, but anyway, I wrote that it was, possibly the least bitter of the bunch, and that it was probably my pick of the bunch as well for my top pick. So it's clocking in at number 5.
8 was good.
It was my number 1, and I thought it was super soft with a very light bitterness, which is something that appeals to me about this style.
It is. It's very creamy.
And
it's very smooth.
got a lovely mouthfeel.
Yeah,
and,
it really does.
And I gave it a 5. So.
Now I am really. I mean, granted, yes, I knew all of these beers, and when I saw this beer at the beer store, I got really excited because it is not. I did not realize that this brewery is making this style beer. That's your hint.
I know what it is.
Shut
I know
up.
what it is.
Stop.
I might know what it is.
So when upon seeing that, I was like, yes, they rock even more.
Right.
And the fact that it has made it to our top 6.
Yes.
All right. Say what it is.
Hit me.
It is Voltage.
From Mystic.
From Mystic.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense. There.
Coming out of Chelsea, Massachusetts.
I love that brewery.
This was in my top 3, and you talk about how those,
stop.
I was sitting here looking at my glass, and these hazy beers, they can flocculate out, and I mean, I've got stuff falling out in the bottom of my sampler glass. This was a hazy, thick, juicy beer.
So what is the collective rating on this beer, Juliana?
This one was rated a 3.
A 3. Good beer.
And I do love the minimalism of the can as well. Doesn't have to say a lot.
You can't breathe it, though. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Woo. Wrong pipe.
Wrong pipe. Okay, moving on to the better pipe.
Drew.
Good boy, Drew.
The guy has got the best pipes.
Yeah, he does.
Let's talk about
the fourth place.
The fourth place beer.
And what was your tasting notes on said fourth place beer?
My tasting notes on said fourth place beer included: it is juicy, smooth, bitter, but clear. Let's say was my first reaction to it, which as a New England style IPA, I also perhaps may have a tad of predisposition towards looking for something with a little more haze. I personally was not as enamored of this one as perhaps some of our other hosts, but I did enjoy it. I liked it as a beer. I thought it was a great beer. It may not, it may be one of those beers, an IPA brewed in New England.
That's how I feel about it. It's not a New England IPA, but it's a good IPA.
It is a good IPA, yes.
It actually kind of tastes kind of West Coasty to me. I mean, I get some...
I agree with you. It's
a little rosinous.
Little bit of caramel in the malt to me.
Absolutely.
And then some resin. Yeah.
And it's a lot more clear than the others.
It absolutely is.
Well, funny that you should say that. Oh, and a little side note. The thing about Mystic, sorry, I forgot to mention about Mystic. It's a 7% ABV beer with Santium, Citra, and Pearl hops.
Interesting.
I know. And I
this
thought...
is an odd combination to me.
But I think that helps lend itself to that beautiful creaminess,
It did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But moving on to beer ranked number 4.
Yeah. Hooker. Say it's a hooker.
No.
Oh, it's not the hooker.
No.
Damn it.
But
I have a hooker joke ready.
it is
that one beer's in there.
beer. No, but it's the second. Interestingly, it's by the same brewery as number 6 place. So this is the other Lamplighter. This is the Stardust IPA.
Yeah.
Now, to appeal to your West Coast senses, this is a 6.7% ABV beer with Simcoe, Summit, and Amarillo.
Yep.
There you go.
That's
There you go.
straight
There we
up
go.
West
That
Coast.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
This is a really cool IPA, though. It's
I liked it.
it's very
First
tasty.
thing I wrote was I liked this one right away.
Cool.
It's a beautiful can with
That
that.
might be the traditionalist in coming out.
Yeah.
lightning
And I
bolt.
do like the Bowie. Yes,
Old
the Bowie.
school.
Yeah, that
Bowiness,
lightning
yes.
bolt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Throwback to Bowie.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes. Okay. So moving on.
What was the rating?
Oh, I'm sorry. The rating of said Lamplighter Stardust IPA was a 4.
Yeah.
So, how are we doing so far?
You guys feel okay?
feeling
Yeah.
good about
Yeah,
this?
I'm feeling good so far. Yeah.
Okay.
Are your minds blown yet?
We're at the halfway point.
No, sir.
How many beers have we done so far?
17.
We've
Okay, we're at the
done
half. Yeah,
3.
we just tipped the halfway.
Yes.
This might
yes.
end up being a one-show day.
Okay, so now moving on.
Yes.
Good old boy Dave.
Oh, we're skipping good old gal. Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're not a...
She's not an impartial
No.
participant.
I'm completely partial.
This is beer number 3, third place.
This is 3rd place. Yes. This is the bronze.
I didn't make a lot of tasting notes because I was helping you, but I like this one. I think it was not one of my personal favorites, I have to say. So it probably diminishes me in your respect. But
Oh, it diminishes. My
So
respect.
are we on? Which beer are we on?
it's beer number 11.
Okay,
But it's third place.
There's too
Third
many
place.
numbers. I'm so
Yeah.
confused.
I'm guessing I know the brewery that this came from.
Yeah.
And it's very citrusy. It's very juicy. There was just something about it. It may have been in the place in the flight where I tasted it, because after about 3 of these beers,
Yep.
I couldn't tell you what
was
any of them
tough.
tasted like. I'm going to just be very honest.
It was
It's
difficult.
tough, folks.
Lots of
Okay.
crackers, y'all.
Yeah.
Lots of crackers.
But now that
Now that I'm tasting it again,
Yes.
it is nice, juicy. I'm getting like tangerine and like maybe a little bit of, it's not like it's not grapefruit to me. It's a different kind of citrus. I would definitely say tangerine, nectarine kind of a flavor, but I really do like it. So I'm guessing it's from one of the Cambridge breweries.
Actually, they are not in Cambridge.
Whatever, wherever. It's freaking Treehouse. Just say what it is.
Yes.
I gave
This
it a
is our
3.
this
Interesting.
this is our first treehouse of the day.
Dude, they better not sweep the top 3.
You know,
I mean, they could though. I mean, they
it-
definitely
This
could.
is funny because this was the one beer from the consensus that didn't make the cut for me. This is the only place where I
Well,
deviated.
this one is Alter Ego.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I
6
drank
point.
like 3 cans of this thing over the last week, and I couldn't have told you that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So 6.8%. Alter Ego is a riff on Julius, taking the base beer and building on it by adding a tremendous amount of mosaic.
This is the one Mike thought was Julius, I think, because they just changed up the hops, and I love mosaic hops, so you get some of the melon and the nectarine, I think, from all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about it?
I love this beer. It was one of my favorites.
Top 3 for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was top 2.
Yeah,
It was it didn't like it was one that I gave it a 3 to begin with, and I had to choose between 2 beers, and this was the one that fell. And I think the one that I chose ended up being the number 2 beer. So
there you go.
just to let you know that if I had to make a choice, you know.
What did you think about it, Julieanna?
I love this. Now, when I was there, and okay, full
That's
disclosure.
right, everybody. Juliana's been to Treehouse.
That's right.
Full disclosure, yes. The day before a rather painful ice storm, I was supposed to go to Boston on said ice storm day, but I changed my plans and I met a now good friend named Tim. Tim, hi.
And they fell in love.
No.
New best buddy.
No, but I did love the radio flyer cart that he brought to take his beer from Treehouse to the car.
Wow.
That was so cool.
That's professional right there.
He's very much a professional. Anyways,
I touched myself to Tom Brady.
No. A resounding no. No offense, Mr. Brady. But
You're the only one at this table that says that.
whatever.
Just kidding.
Anyways, it was such a tremendous
What are you guys,
experience,
Eagles
and
fans?
also to be able to get this beer, as well as I mean, I hit the jackpot that day in terms of what I could take home from Treehouse.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a great day, and I'm just forever in love with Treehouse.
Top 5 actors all time? It's easy. Matt Damon.
Ben Affleck.
Mark Wahlberg.
Casey Affleck.
And Donnie Wahlberg.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Let's go watch Four Brothers.
Anyways, this is a beautiful beer. It really,
nice.
it really, really is. It's so easy, and it's so enjoyable, and
I'm loving it now.
Yeah, and the mosaicness on this is just outstanding.
You could put down a 6-pack of this beer. Seriously.
Oh,
Easily.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily. But I think with any of the Treehouse beers,
I might, once you guys all
You-
leave, I might put down a 6-pack.
Do
of this
exactly
beer.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have
I'm gonna
any
shotgun
of
it.
them. I think they're all gone.
Son of a... All right, you're going back to Boston today. You better get in the van.
Why isn't that on our list? Going back to Boston, the song.
Yeah.
What?
She said no.
Copyright laws.
Those darn copyright laws.
Darn.
What did we rate this lovely, lovely beer?
Well, this lovely beer we rated a 4.
Well deserved.
Tom Brady, don't make that noise.
Ew.
Right. Giselle doesn't like that at that table. When they're having their avocado ice cream.
Yum. God. We'll be right back, folks.
Not just the destination, but baby, the whole elation of riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Welcome back, everyone.
We've never been alive.
We are alive. We are alive, and the sound of New England is calling our name.
The sound of music.
For those of you just tuning in, we are in the middle of a battle of the New England IPAs.
A lot of people getting punched and knocked down. I think it's the 5 of us.
Yeah. So we have been doing a blind tasting of
Down to
IPAs
the final
from New
2.
England
Dun, dun, dun.
that I was able to procure from New England and
Yes.
bring to the Deep South.
Stole them. Stole
Yes,
every
I stole
daggone one of them.
every single one of them.
She
Yes.
took every beer out of New England and brought them to Tennessee.
I wish.
You're welcome.
No. Anyways, so we've done number 6, we've done number 5, we've done number 4, and
I
we
just did number 2.
3.
Sorry.
Wow.
I thought we were sharing.
Not that
Is that
much.
oversharing?
That's oversharing.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Okay.
Sometimes I don't know the difference.
It's most of the time, dude.
True.
Good old boy Kendall. What is the silver medal winner?
What does it mean to you?
Okay, our silver medal winner, beer number 2, was we rated it a 5. Everybody loved this beer. it was, everything you expect. Creamy, but yet crisp, light, juicy. Just went down really easy. That little bit of hint of bitterness on the end. Loved it. So
went down easy. It was the hooker beer. I'm telling you.
Julieanna, I would love to know what this one was because I think we all rated it highly.
Gotta love those boys in Framingham, Massachusetts. Exhibit A, the cat's meow.
Nice.
Meow, meow.
Hats off.
Wow, that's
awesome.
That was beautiful. Yes. So this is an IPA that's 6.5%. And I was told by 5 people that I had to bring home some Exhibit A with me.
There you go.
And I'm so happy that
Those
I did.
5 people are awesome.
They're good people.
They are. And this to me is, color-wise, it is the epitome of a New England IPA.
Just hazy enough.
Yeah. This is what I get excited about when I see an IPA from New England.
I agree.
Or a glass of orange juice.
And it is very juicy.
Yeah.
Very juicy, but not in that fake OJ kind of way that we have seen in some beers that shall remain unnamed.
They didn't add orange juice or do any of the weird stuff to it. They just use the hops and the malt to.
I picked up on a slight lime-like sort of almost alkalinity to this
Agreed.
beer that
Yes.
seems
Yeah.
to balance everything.
That's something
really
I was wondering
yes.
about, and maybe you guys know better. Like Kendall, you've been up there a lot. Like, what is the water like in New England? Because
I have no
wonder
idea.
if that has something to do with this style. Because
That is
water is
stringency.
a very big component. So, is their water softer up there? I don't know.
I don't
Interesting.
either.
I don't know. We'll
We
have
need to know this.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to come across with some
Listeners,
facts.
help us. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Somebody needs to write in from New England. I need you to write me a description of New England's water profile, and I need you to put it on a case of Julius and mail it to
Sorry.
good old boy Dave,
Wow.
care of.
Minimum weight requirements, everyone.
Please ship
Wow.
it overnight.
That caught me by surprise.
Wow. Okay.
I'm surprised anything catches you by surprise
I appreciate
anymore.
that. That's kind of a shout out to New England right there because the Car Talk guys were always saying,
Yes.
write stuff on.
That's my guys. Click and clack, baby.
$100 bill and send it to us. So very
Yeah,
well
put it
played,
on
Dave.
I need you to write your answer on a 20-foot yacht and send it to Car Talk Plaza.
Wow. Well,
Does it say what the hops were on this thing? It says no.
It's so good.
That is my one beef with a lot of breweries. Put your hops on there, man. If you're going to make a hop forward beer and it's all about the hops, just put it on the can so that everybody knows, so that we can talk about it and gush about you and tell
says-
everybody how much we love you.
It says catnip for people.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
Maybe they use catnip as a hop.
I love it.
Could be.
Wonder if you could do that.
Dave's
Could
over here
be.
thinking about
I
his
don't
next
see why you
catnip
can't.
beer.
I know. But anyways, I think it would be safe to assume that there's a degree of mosaic in this.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
But just a beautifully balanced beer and just creamy enough. And I was really impressed and really happy that I listened to my peeps.
No kidding.
Good job, peeps.
Very well
Good job,
done.
people.
What
Yes.
did we rate this beer, Juliana?
We rated it a 5, and 8 out of 10 cats say their owners love it.
What's
job,
wrong?
cats.
Yeah, what's wrong with those other 2 cats?
Just not asking for it by name.
Yeah.
They must be West Coast freaks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
They only
it is
like milk
time
stouts.
for the gold medal winner.
Dun, dun, dun. And who better to bring us notes on the gold medal winner than good old boy Caperton?
What?
So,
Oh my God.
I know. I know.
Pressure
I'm
is
sorry. I'm
building.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was beer
This was the
number
number
7.
Number 7.
To Tom Brady.
That's just to get you in the mood.
That's the
He might be touching himself to this beer. I don't know.
Okay. I gave this one.
He gave it a 2.
I'm not going to say what I didn't give it a 5. I gave it a 4, but I did really, really like it. I said, my notes were that, of course, soft bitterness. And this one stood out for the mouthfeel, apparently, for me. I'm not tasting it. And it was hazier, maybe, than a few of the others.
You like the mouthfeel?
I did.
Is this one the hooker beer? Dang it.
No.
But I think that haze, the protein maybe from the grain bill.
You keep saying haze. I wonder if that's...
Yeah, I wonder.
Uh-huh.
I did really like it, though. And
cool.
Okay.
What about you, everybody else?
yeah.
Oh, I love this beer. I can't read my writing, though. I think the first descriptor I have on my list is icy, and I'm still trying to figure out what I meant. Maybe that was supposed to be juicy.
Oh, juicy, icy.
This was one of the last beers Kendall tried, so by then,
too. It's warmed nicely.
Handwriting had started.
So
to
when are
fail.
we doing our ice beer show? That's what But no, this was a fantastic beer. This was my absolute favorite. I had it as a 5. I think good old boy Mike said it was one of his favorites as
This
well.
is a really good beer. It's got a juiciness. There's almost like a little, to me, like a little bite to it right at the end too. And I really enjoy that.
Capsaicin-esque.
Yeah,
I know there's no peppers in it, I'm sure, but
there's a little
I felt like there was
pepperiness maybe
something.
from the yeast or something.
love
Yeah.
Definitely a little black pepper thing
It's a
going
great
on.
Yeah,
balance on
which
this
makes it even better because
Agreed.
it makes your mouth kind of salivate a little bit and you're
I
wanting
tasted it.
to-
I said, wow. And I have to admit, I came to it a little bit later because I did hear from good old Mike that he enjoyed it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to set to the side. And yeah, it held up.
Usually when Mike likes a beer, you know it's good because he never...
Mike hates everything.
He does. Give it to Mikey. He hates everything.
Some of these beers, I think, have suffered from warming in the glass. A few.
I think
this
some
one,
of-
They
this
have
one
not
actually,
improved,
this
at
one
the very
is
least.
this one is hung pretty solid.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one for me,
Hung pretty solid. You sure it's not the hooker beer?
so I
Can we get
I
one
set him
more
up,
in?
he knocks him down.
wow. I will admit
Get
that
one more in. Are you sure it's not the hooker beer?
You're welcome.
I still think you should put a Sam Adams in here.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
So-
they've got a New England IPA now.
Do they
Have
really?
you had the new Sam Adams?
Oh,
New England
it
IPA?
is
Oh, yes,
excellent.
yes, yes.
It
It
is
is
actually
really
really
good.
good.
It is
It's
good.
good. It's good. They did
Yeah.
a good job
There are
with
a
it.
couple new beers. The 76. And,
76 is nice, too.
Yeah, and the
discussion.
New England
They're-
IPA are both very, very good beers.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my moment with this beer, okay? So, I drove back to my family's house and I went to
Scranton? Wilkes-Barre,
Bear Creek.
Bear Creek.
Bear Creek.
That's what it meant.
Yes.
Bear Creek.
Bear Creek with the bears.
Yep.
And
They got bears there, by
Yes.
the way.
Apparently.
And I came home. Well, this is my brother's house. And I was like so excited, but I was also scared too because my brother doesn't realize how seriously I take a beer haul. Okay? He knew that I was going, that I've been traveling and that I've been getting some beers, but I don't think he realized how intense my beer shopping can be. So he knows nothing about any of the beers from New England, even though he's like pretty much, up their
He's like
doorstep.
5 minutes away.
Yeah, exactly. In the scheme of things. So I cracked this beer open and I just told him to close his eyes and to smell. Okay. Now, this is a boy that is used to Pennsylvania beers, which I'm not knocking them because I love me some Pennsylvania beers.
Okay.
He smelled this thing and he said, "Are beers allowed to smell like this?"
Ooh.
And all he said to me was, "Peaches? Where the heck are the peaches coming from?" Again, my brother doesn't brew.
Right.
My brother knows not much about beer.
Solid.
He knows what he
stuff,
likes, though.
Yeah.
He knows what he likes.
He was in love with this. And so he told me then, "Well, the next time you go up there, I need to go up with you." And I said, damn straight, Skippy. So,
Wow.
clocking in.
Her brother's name is
brother's
Skippy.
name is
by the way.
Skippy?
Yeah.
No.
That would be cool. It's my favorite peanut butter.
So if you're in Bear
clocking-
Creek and you know Skippy, you know her brother.
Stop it. Okay, so clocking in at number 1.
Yes.
Let's talk about this beer for a second.
Okay.
Please.
It is a double IPA. That's 8.2%.
Oh, no. Really?
Yes. You smell a ton of peach on the nose. And as this warms up, the peach is even more prominent than it was in the beginning, at least to me, with complementary notes of orange and passion fruit. The flavor is similar, with a blast of citrus fruit and peach, quickly followed by a bounty of tropical fruit. A lingering and pleasant saturated hop oil finish awaits. A real juice bomb of a beer.
Jeez
And
Louise.
I mean,
want more.
And besides this being
Tell me more. Tell
a
me
beautiful
More
hazy
stuff
beer,
and things.
it is juicy, but
Yeah.
not in a orange juice kind of
Right.
way.
All right, tell us what it is so we can all pour some more.
Hit us.
Haze
Hey.
Boom.
from Treehouse.
So Treehouse hit 2 of the top 3.
Yeah.
Go.
Hey, so I told you earlier, I love Bright. What number was Bright?
Bright was number 5.
Which I
Wow.
loved, but did not make the consensus.
Yeah.
No.
Losers.
I knew I liked that beer.
Yes.
Well, but I mean, still though, I mean there were some really solid IPAs, and
Oh, they're all good.
Absolutely.
and like you said, you had only had the 3 Treehouse beers, so the fact that there were
and may
10
I
others.
say that Bright
Yeah.
is
Bright.
so clear and bright.
See, I probably, which one was that?
It's right in front of
actually
you.
number 5. That
I disqualified it just for that.
Are you flipping serious?
I'm serious.
dude, you're
He
such a-
did. He said this is not
Yeah,
hazy.
It's not hazy, man. It's called Bright.
Don't be
It
giving me
makes
no
sense.
hazy,
It makes sense.
unhazy beers.
It's the Bright one, you know.
Honestly, I like Bright. It's my favorite Treehouse beer. I mean,
Hey, Reverend Mark.
favorite
Yeah.
of
Can I get
all
that-
the Treehouse beers.
Can
I
I get
love
that
that
can
beer.
back from you,
That's
brother?
a good beer.
I'm glad
Wow.
I 86.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Julius is good, but it ain't no Bright.
Wow. Okay. So now that you know what has won the gold, the silver, and the bronze,
Yeah.
do you have any questions about any of the rest? Were there any
What was
on your list that were wondering?
What was number 2?
Number 2 was the other Exhibit A,
Okay.
the Demo Tape 12
Demo tape.
Rewind A.
Got it.
Yeah. This is a test batch IPA featuring Mosaic and High Oil Cascade hops.
Ooh.
The beer is their lead brewer's first solo single. His name is Dunstan. A must-have for fans of a more aggressive IPA. And maybe that's why it didn't
think
make the
that's-
top 6.
yeah.
So it's like part of an experimental batch. So
Makes sense.
It made the first round of my
But,
tastings. though.
but this is a beautiful
it's very
haziness
good, but
too.
it's not if you're preparing your mind for New England like kind of juicy soft IPAs. This
It was
beer's
not.
not gonna. Do
It was.
that for
It
you.
reminded me more like Northwest beer than North.
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
England beer.
Yeah, the cascadiness of this is crazy.
It was like
what was
Oregon.
number 9?
Number 9.
Number 9,
Possibly my
number
least
9,
favorite.
number 9,
Number 9, your
number
least
9.
favorite?
It was, yeah.
Dude, come on,
it's
John Lennon
it's on
joke,
there.
dude. Give me
It's
some.
on there.
Well, I'm not surprised because we had a tasting of it and we were before. This is the Gray Sail Captain's Daughter from
Yeah.
Rhode Island.
I thought it was a good beer. I enjoyed it.
It's nice.
It had
It's
a nice-
actually,
I think I liked it more before in this lineup though. It didn't. It didn't.
So-
it didn't
it's hard to hold up.
It had
Yeah.
a nice bitterness.
So the interesting thing about this is that it's brewed with Pilsner malt and flaked
Yeah,
oats.
see, that's and
Yeah.
that's what I said. Some of these,
So that's why it's a
Brewed
little
in New
I'm
different.
England.
smarter than I
Oh,
give
dang
myself
it.
credit for.
Y'all are crazy.
You guys
Yeah.
are gonna have to trust me on that.
So all in all,
Sounded like Bill Clinton just there.
You
That's
did.
weird.
It did sound like Bill.
It's okay.
Thought, relations.
It sounded like he was talking to a lady. You don't have to trust me on that.
wow,
That's right.
that's. I'm
went
feeling
there.
strange right now.
We did.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
just got weird.
Trailing off.
58 minutes into the show.
So
13
all in
beers.
all, you guys think that this was pretty good?
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Did
Nebraska.
you enjoy the Omaha?
Somewhere in middle America.
It was
Yes.
a tough. It was harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah, 13 New England beers. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was hard.
And
My palate is wrecked.
and what was cool was that I put the Treehouse in various spots so you
Good
didn't
girl.
taste them all together.
You did
Next
good.
week, 28 robust porters.
Yes. All right. So this is going to wrap it up for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode because we certainly did. You can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sip Suds Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
And our daily tasting notes flow out copiously on Twitter and Instagram every day at Sip Suds Smokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Please take the time to rate this episode if you're listening online.
And that ended rather cool.
He's so good.
I know he is.
Better than the rest of us.
Radio voice.
That's it. Good old boy Kendall, why don't you tell us about your blog?
My beautiful wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermakes3.com, also on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this very special day of New England IPAs. Good old boy Dave.
Hey, check me out on Instagram at Good Old Boy Dave for my 60-second beer reviews.
Good old boy Kendall.
It's always wonderful to be here, especially today. Thank you.
Good old boy Caperton.
This was fun, and keep up the fight against kudzu, folks.
Yes! Keep fighting the fight. Good old boy Drew, thanks for being here.
So glad to be back.
And this is good old gal Julieanna. Keep on chuggling and see you next time.
This has been a one-tan-hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.